Long ago, in the heart of the great Anwu Kingdom, there were two brothers, Obinna and Obiora, born under the same moon, though separated by 2 years. Their mother, Neka, often said they were like the twin roots of the mighty Iroko tree, different but forever entwined. They shared everything: food, clothes, even their thoughts. If one was in pain, the other felt it. If one laughed, the other echoed it. The village of Umwagu knew them as brothers of one heart, and many envied their bond. But where there is light, there is also shadow, waiting for its moment to strike. As they grew into men, Obinna, the elder, became a skilled hunter, and Obiora, the younger, a gifted farmer. The gods favored them, and fortune smiled upon their household. Their barn overflowed with yams, and their skins glistened with good health. Their father, Okonkwo, often praised them, saying, "The land will never lack as long as these two stand together." But fate is not always kind. One fateful year, the village suffered a terrible drought. Crops withered, rivers shrank, and hunger gnawed at the people. Yet, Obinna's hunts remained fruitful, and Obiora's hidden yam store was abundant. The brothers became the village's lifeline, sharing what they had. It was then that greed whispered its first words. Obiora, noticing the growing dependence of the villagers, began to question why he should share everything equally with Obinna. After all, he was the one who toiled in the fields under the scorching sun. Did the gods not favor him more? Did he not deserve more? At first, the thoughts were small, like tiny ants crawling in his mind. But soon, they became a swarm, dark and unstoppable. One evening, after the village had celebrated another feast made possible by the brothers' generosity, an old man approached Obiora. He was a wandering diviner known to possess great wisdom. He looked into Obiora's eyes and whispered, "The hand that gives is often beaten first. Why should you labor for two when one can rule?" The words burrowed deep into Obiora's heart. That night, under the cover of darkness, he made a decision that would change their fates forever. The next day, while Obinna was deep in the forest hunting, Obiora took a moshe and, with trembling hands, dug a deep hole near their barn. Into it, he poured a dark powder he had bought from a traveling medicine man, a poison that would wither anything it touched. He then covered the ground with fresh earth and scattered healthy yam vines over it. When Obinna returned, tired and hungry, Obiora greeted him with a warm smile. "Brother, you have labored much today. Let us divide the land so that we may each care for our own. It is only fair." Obinna, ever trusting, agreed. The land was split, and fate was sealed. Obinna planted his yams on his new portion, watering them with love and hope. But when the rains came, his crops refused to grow. The leaves curled and blackened, the soil rotted, and famine settled in his home. Meanwhile, Obiora's farm flourished, and the villagers whispered of his great luck. Days turned into weeks, and Obinna, once strong and proud, grew weak with hunger. One night, as he lay beneath the stars, he called upon the spirits of their ancestors. "If blood can betray blood, then let the earth bear witness. Let no son of our line know peace until the truth is revealed." The winds howled, and the ground trembled. A dark cloud gathered over Obiora's land, and that night, a mysterious sickness took hold of him. No medicine could cure him, no priest could save him. The next morning, his once thriving farm had withered overnight, just as Obinna's had before. Realizing his brother's betrayal, Obinna confronted Obiora. But before a word could be spoken, Obiora fell to the ground, coughing blood. "Forgive me. I have wronged you," he gasped, tears mixing with the dirt beneath him. But it was too late. The gods had already passed judgment. That night, as Obiora lay feverish in his hut, he dreamt of the ancestors. They stood before him, their faces stern. The eldest among them spoke. "You have broken the bond of blood. For this, your lineage shall suffer. Brothers shall turn against brothers. Land shall bear no fruit. Your name shall carry the weight of this curse forever. When dawn came, Obiora's spirit had left his body, and the villagers buried him beside the land he had poisoned. The people spoke in hushed tones, fearing that even the mention of his name would summon misfortune. Obinna, heartbroken, left the village, never to return. Some say he wandered into the forest, while others believe the spirits took him away. What is certain is that his name, too, faded into legend. A whisper carried by the winds. From that day forth, no descendant of their bloodline ever knew lasting peace. Crops failed, families quarreled, and brothers turned against each other. The curse had taken root, growing deeper than the strongest Iroko. Even today, in the villages where their blood still runs, whispers tell of two brothers whose love was shattered by greed, and the price that must be paid when blood betrays blood. And so, the tale of Obinna and Obiora serves as a warning to all who listen. Beware the hands that hunger for more, for they may one day harvest ruin.